All right, people, welcome to the Tea podcast. Another week, another topic. It's been crazy out here, man. It's been crazy. World War III pending. This week's topic is basically Russia and Ukraine situation at the moment. Obviously, Vladimir Putin, going into Ukraine to overthrow the current president. Basically, going to break through a few little things that's been going on. But again, it's nuts. To be fair, and I was probably one of those people that was like, you know what, he's crazy, but he ain't that crazy because do you mean it's not gonna end well. And I know for he's got people that he cares about, and the people that he's close to don't want their families being put in jeopardy as well. But boy, was I wrong, and here we are, man. I think it's been a few days now since Russia invaded Ukraine. Um, I believe the first sort of missiles that were sent by Russia were attacking airports, basically, so that no one would leave, basically, and other civilians were then forced to grab whatever they can, pets, whatever they can chuck in their car and drive basically to somewhere safer. Um, this whole thing is happening because, I'll give you the first takes. So at the beginning, Vladimir Putin was using the fact that Ukraine are not allowed to join NATO because you can't hear. He's not going to be feeling. He's not going to be feeling calm by knowing that U.S. Soldiers are basically by the border between Ukraine and Russia, and he didn't want that. He said, "Listen, that will put me at ease, and if you do that, it's already you declaring war on Russia." And as far as I'm aware, the Russian president will listen. Obviously, we want to be part of the European dream, part of the part of NATO. But if this is where it's gonna head to, because knowing how nuts this brother is, it's like, you know what, we're gonna chill for now, but just to let you know, this is something that we genuinely want to do. And then he went from there to a couple of days later, full on crazy mode. Listen, we need to go into Ukraine and overthrow the current government because the president that's there is a Nazi, and basically we gotta overthrow them. Bear in mind, false information, propaganda. The current Ukraine president, he's Jewish, right? But I can see where the coloration, where people are saying Putin is moving a little bit like Hitler, and it makes sense because he's now trying to use, I guess, religion as a means of brainwashing his soldiers, and also you trying to fuel that hate in between people in Russia as to this is why we're going there, and basically do as I tell you. We need to use brutal force to overthrow this government. But really, from listening to LBC and all these other journalists, the main reason is basically he does not like at all the current government in power at the moment, and he needs them out. And I believe he's currently looking for the current Ukraine president with for them to basically invade the current government building so he can put in his own government that he knows will back Russia. Um, Again, Ukraine is massive. It's really big, and there's no way 40 million people or civilians are just gonna be told, "Listen, this is now your president and your government. Crack on." It's not gonna work like that. And as far as I'm aware as well, I believe for kids in Ukraine, as part of education, they're taught to shoot, basically as part of their education system, just like it is for us with PE. Like that's part of their curriculum in Ukraine. So I can see there being, almost like a civil war after that. If that is the case, and if Putin is successful in his invasion, but yeah, it's crazy, man. Because again, the best way I can explain it, Ukraine and Russia is basically England going to invade Ireland, right? It's like almost like brothers and sisters in regards to countries. Like they're so close, and the people in Russia have families that are in Ukraine, right? Same thing, vice versa as well. So the whole thing, people genuinely didn't believe that Putin was going to do this because it's unnecessary, and there'd be so much bloodshed between people that literally know each other. And also a quick shout out as well to the soldiers that were on Snake Island. I believe the Russian warships basically told them to surrender, and they told them to fuck themselves. And unfortunately, the Russian soldiers sent a missile to the island and killed all of them. Like, it's crazy. This thing is looking very real, and I don't know, man. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. And for me speaking to everyone else right now, people are like, listen, get ready because World War III is coming, and get ready to fight. And I'm sorry, man. I ain't fighting for nobody. I ain't fighting for no one, man. You know how some people be pulling up the you're not one of us card, or go back to your country. This would be happily, bro. You have to do that. I'll find myself a plane and jump on that. I'm not doing that. It's crazy. This is literally little men are trying to do a dick measuring contest with people's lives, and for what? For what, really? And also as well, the involvement of England in regards to Boris has obviously put on many countries, or NATO in Europe have put sanctions in place against Russia, and bear in mind that we are in the process of trying to go out of the EU. We have to do our own separate ones from everyone else's, right? And Boris, again, incompetent Boris, is back again, trying to deal with another big ass problem that this man cannot handle at all whatsoever. It's crazy to me. But basically, the best way I can put it is Russia has been able to launder their money through the UK, right? And in regards to, investing in banks or companies that, they might own from the background, and wash all that dirty money that they've been stealing from Russia. The perfect example is the previous owner of Chelsea, who's now stepped down because he's been forced to, with also the current sanctions that have been pushed by the MPs in the House of Parliament. It was announced today as well. Basically, a lot of the elites that have made a killing in regards to becoming billionaires, basically by backing Putin, they're using that money. Like, for example, if I use the ex owner of Chelsea owning a football club, again, you can use that to, wash your money, and after you invested in the right parts, when the money comes back to you, it's clean money, right? It will be very hard for you to actually realize where it's coming from, and there's a lot of that going on. And again, I guess the pros is, it brought more jobs, right? In regards to lawyers, that are working for these people, and the people that they're employing in these new companies that were coming up. And it's very easy for you to register these companies anyway. And some people might know as well that are self-employed in regards to company house, right? For you to create a company, it's literally about £15 for you to create a company and set up the whole thing. Easy as piss. And also another thing that has come to light as well is how easy these people were able to gain British citizenship, right? Obviously, yes, there's a process and the way that you got to do it, but these people come in as billionaires and they'll be asked, listen, why do you want to apply for citizenship? And they'll simply say, I've got a business. I own an oil rink. I got it at an auction. And I'm making a killing. I'm a billionaire. And this man will be basically handed a red passport by Priti Patel. But this is the same woman that, when migrants are flying away from war on, not very safe boats, she's calling them, saying that they're about to invade the UK. People that are genuinely running away from war to save their own lives. And also referring to them as cockroaches, right? When people are drowning and being found on beach shores, like it's mad, right? Like, I guess, so basically, it's looking like England hasn't been very innocent throughout this whole process, and it's very hard for them to put sanctions on Russia when they've been basically making also a killing from their money, right? Because their money has been coming here mostly in London, some of the big companies in London. When you really look behind the curtains, it's a lot of Russia elites that are, have got a close relationship with Putin as well. So it's very hard. I believe as well yesterday, um, the UK had made an announcement that no Russian planes were allowed to come to the UK, and Russia said, "Okay, that's fine. Your planes are not allowed here either, and if we see one, we're shooting it down." So again, already, if that happened, that's already a declaration of war, and then it's a madness. Then also bear in mind as well, for me and you, we are basically relying on these crazy individuals who have, almost like I said, a dick measuring contest where they all have their magic red buttons, right? Where if someone starts something in regards to WW3, someone's pressing and sending their missiles to whoever's pissing them off. And again, bear in mind, Russia has got a very close relationship with Iran and China. Like, it's looking crazy right now. It's looking crazy. And, even I was watching a football match today, Man City and Everton. And, like, Zinchenko, I believe, the Man City fullback. Like, the guy obviously had his flag on his back, and he was genuinely in tears, man. Like, you can see that people are genuinely scared, and from someone who genuinely is from Ukraine, the suffering, when you really try to understand it, you can't, because you realize the whole thing is unnecessary, and it's been started because of someone's ego. And again, we all know Putin is not someone who will step down. Right, as they say, give him a man an inch, you take a mile, and that's what he's done, because he's been someone who's been tolerated by a lot of countries because of the amount of wealth this man has, and I believe as well, America had just basically said Russia are not going to be allowed to trade in US dollars, which basically is about 80% of their trades. So we should make a big killing from regards to like banks, etc. But again, it's looking like this man had been planning this for about 4 years, right? About 4 years. And so he's got contingencies in place anyway. So nothing that we do now is going to really affect him, really. It's going to affect the little people. The guys that are, they've got a decent 9 to 5 job, just trying to get by. Those are the guys that are going to suffer, right? And it's sad, man. It's sad that it's got to this point. And I'm someone who knows about, dictatorship in regards to Mugabe, from Zimbabwe. It gets crazy, and when you try to really, digest what's going on as to why, you can never do, because there's no reasoning anymore. It's about action and just simply throwing their weight around to see, who's gonna stop me, which is where we are. And again, the correlation between him and Hitler is looking more and more and more, more correct, really, because his whole vision from when he became president has always been to bring back greater Russia, right? So for Russia to be as big as it can be, and which is why people are worried. Right now is Ukraine. Before you know it, might be Poland, right? Because most of the people that are fleeing Ukraine are going to Poland, all these neighbor countries that are close to Ukraine and Russia. Which is obviously the great thing about that, really, about Poland anyway, is if he even dares to do that, NATO, because Poland are part of NATO, they're gonna go there, send their soldiers, and genuinely will be in World War III. And I even saw a statement from the president saying, if you're 18 up to 60 years old, they need you to come to the army base, because they're losing people very, very quickly, and they need people to join. And I saw a picture of, I'll try to attach it on there to show you guys, but I saw a picture of like an old man, bro, like an old man with like a Zimmer frame, like trying to sign up to join the army. He was 80 years old, right? Trying to sign up to join the army for his grandsons. Like, this is why, like, I'm very anti-war. If it's not obvious, right? I'm very anti-war, and for me, these decisions are always made with people who are in the safest places. Do you know what I mean? Like, nothing really affects them. It's always the little people. Do you know what I mean? It's those guys that are being pushed to go and fight. Basically, they're their neighbor, right? Yeah, and potentially, some of these men are not gonna see their kids. Even the story that I saw about a Ukraine soldier, basically he blew himself up with the bridge so that to stop the Russian tanks from basically crossing over the bridge. So like it's unnecessary bloodshed. And obviously, well done to UEFA as well for taking away the final of the Champions League, from taking it from St. Petersburg, I believe. It's now going to be in France, in Paris. But again, I guess it's little actions like that. I guess every little helps at the moment. But again, like then there needs to be more done. What more is, I don't know, because it's not like we have the most competent leader in the world in regards to Boris. He's a clown in himself anyway. Someone that we can never really rely on. So it's strange. It's very strange for me to try to understand what can be done. And even the fact that Biden stated that he's not going to be sending any troops to Russia again. No, sorry, sending any troops to Ukraine to help Ukraine against Russia. Again, he's a clown. He's the biggest flip flop I've ever seen in my whole life, because even his whole campaign was, "Oh, vote for me because I'm not Trump. I'm a racist." But this man has got no policies that were going to benefit anyone really, right? And is it? I won't say he's a coward, because obviously he took soldiers away from Afghan, I believe. Obviously, I the Taliban end up taking over the country again. But I don't know, man. Like, people need help, and people are genuinely dying, and making a statement like Boris did about, "Oh, you have our supports, and this shall pass." Man, people are gonna be dying, and we're not speaking about someone who has an agenda. No one really actually understands. We're all making presumptions about what his agenda is as to why he's done this, right? Because in regards to the economy of Russia, yes, these sanctions are gonna make a huge difference. But again, it's not gonna be for the elites. Like I won't even say his name. The Chelsea owner, right? Like, these are the people that are gonna be so comfortable. They always have offshore accounts that nobody knows about, money, cash in some safe that no one knows about. They'll be able to survive. It's the little guys, yeah. And again, I do genuinely rate what the UK has done in regards to the Chelsea owner, for him to step down. Like, those things do make a difference, and it also means that the elites that are close to Putin will say, "Listen, bro, what are you doing? Because the pressure that we're getting here isn't, Jimin, it's not cool. What's the outcome?" And hopefully that information filters down, and then people will realize how we can actually how they can handle them. Because at the moment, everyone is guessing. Everyone is guessing as to what's going on, and people are dying on a daily basis. Civilian missiles being sent here and everywhere. And it's scary, man. Because the crazy thing is, maybe one of those people, I genuinely didn't believe he would have the balls to do it. Because I was like, no, because once it's done that, the only way this ends is genuinely World War III, which is why the question I'm asking is World War III pending. Obviously, I said what I said. I'm not gonna be part of that shite. I'm not going to do it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be. I'll be jumping on the first boat to Zimbabwe if I have to, bruv. I'm not fighting no war. Right? It's not happening. Because what would we be fighting for? Right? What there needs to be a way these because there's so many organizations, NATO and obviously the UN. Those guys need to step up, right? Those billions and billions of money are there for a reason, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, yo, let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, subscribe, share with your friends.